Should I take off my driving glasses? Oh, yes, I know. I look official driving. I need my driving gloves too. And what is this? Oh, this is camera lens. I thought it was the keys. There you go. We are here for day 2 of house hunting. It has been road bump after road bump on this house hunt. We have been here for almost a week now in the state, which is almost the entirety of our stay. And this is only our second day getting to see houses because one thing after another happened. So admittedly, we're going into today not being super optimistic that we're going to find what we're looking for because we just haven't seen enough. We've seen a couple houses.
You being too ashy.
Yeah, and we're just running out of time on this trip. And there's just not a lot of inventory at all. I'm hoping that I left enough room on the side of the road here. I don't know if there's like another real estate agent or something, but there's 2 cars in the driveway of the house that we're supposed to see, and there's nowhere to park. This is a very small road. It's everybody else's lawn that I have to park on. So like just pulled part of the road in, and I don't know. I'm assuming that's gotta be like another real estate agent showing the house. But this is our time. It's actually a little past our time to be here, so I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on, but they parked in a way that blocked the driveway. Like there could be room, so I don't know what's going on. But we're being pessimistic. So there's a chance that we're going to be going home from our trip in just a couple days, and we're just going to have to stay in the rental and kind of reassess from there, like how many houses have to come on the market to be worth coming back out. Because honestly, it was kind of an expensive trip to come out here. I was surprised. I was trying to time it with our house closing so that, there wouldn't be a huge overlap where we had to have somewhere to stay. And so we're really trying to figure out like what does that look like if we don't find a house on this trip. Because there's only so many times we're gonna be flying back out here. It's a long flight from the West Coast, and it's just a lot of time and effort into it. So we're feeling a little down. We've loved our trip in Michigan. I think Abraham can say that. We really liked the area. West Michigan just seems really neat. We haven't done Northern Michigan on this trip, and I think we might save that for another trip because we've really been focusing on staying and driving around and walking around and visiting the general areas that we were thinking about living in so that we kind of have a sense of the space. Yeah, we'll see. So the first house we're going to be looking at is a lake pond front house. It is tiny, itty bitty. That's got to be real estate people back there. And it looks like it needs a lot of love, but we're going to see a lot of hugs and kisses. And then we're going to see one that's actually on the outskirts of Grand Rapids, which I'm a little surprised I'm even looking at it, but it looks really unique and interesting. We are not looking to move into the suburbs. Definitely not a city again. This house is in the boonies. It took so long to get here, and when I drove by, there was like nothing. So this one's tricky because there's really no amenities from what I can tell. I'm going to do some Google mapping and try to figure out what is around this house because I genuinely don't even know. But we love Michigan. I just don't know how this trip is going to turn out for actually finding a place. So we'll see. This brings me back to when Abraham was tiny and we did a really giant move when he was like a year and a half, and we flew up, we looked for a place, and we lucked out that we found that when we did, because this trip it's not it looks like there's just so little inventory, and the one house we were interested in got an offer on it, and so it's not available anymore. So it's tricky, and I don't want to rush, right? I feel like rushing is what got us into moving to the city we did and not enjoying it. Because there was such a push of like, if you don't move right now, you won't be able to. We're gonna see. But this is the view I'm gonna show you. This is not the house. Let me see if I can get that too. Can I get that to work here? I might have to pick the camera up. I'll suggest. So this is the view. That is not the house. I will show you the house in a little bit, but it looks cute. So should be. I think we should get going. I think those people that were looking at the house are leaving, is my guess. And then I'm gonna have to figure out how to turn around on a really tiny road that has no turnarounds. And get us to park in the driveway. So we'll see. Okay, so this is the little blue house, and this house, fun fact, is actually one of the first houses I found online to look at when we were considering a trip out to Michigan to look at houses. You can see that ceiling. That's not even the least of it. And I was like, oh, what are the odds that it's still on the market months and months later? And now walking through, I loved the concept of the foot plan. It actually had a little entrance mudroom. It had an attached garage. Does not come with a free gargoyle, but what you gonna do? This was an absolute tear-out kitchen, and that had actually been on my list of things I'm looking for in this time around. It was a super old, outdated, dysfunctional kitchen that I can then DIY remodel myself, because I would love to have that as my project. This bathroom here, actually, they covered a window to put that shower in, so it used to have a window in there. Really tiny bathroom, but doable. I mean, look at that view. That is something that calls to my heart, to have that gorgeous watery view, you know, nothing big and fancy, but something simple, slow living, and easy to breathe in. This house was not easy to breathe in. That carpet and the mold in the ceilings, oh my goodness. So this is the master bedroom, quote unquote. And as you can see, it is small. It's very uninsulated. So that was something that we were really considering of, A, size. Are these places too small? And B, how much work actually needs to get done? I've kind of ruled out any major structural things, unless it was for sale for like $10,000, you know. Some paint, I can accept that. You know, DIY modeling inside, absolutely. Refreshing decks, yes. And this house, as we wander through, I want you to really keep an eye out for all the things that need remodeling. So you've got this unfinished basement down here. And at least it has windows. The curtains were taped shut and the windows are made of duct tape currently. But you get the idea, and it's a walkout. And I really like that idea of making a family-friendly walkout little play basement. You can see how small it is, right? It's not going to be a regular-sized home, right? This is like a cottage-sized home. I will pop up the square footage on here, but it's dainty. And then this is just kind of the practical. You need some space for all of your things. I didn't even check the age of everything in here because there was so many other stuff to check on and check out the prices on for fixing up. So I forgot to do that. But pro tip, always check on the major heating and cooling units. I actually really like this little beach area. I think you could trim back some of the little grass, make it into a little beachy area. I liked the pier. It was a nice long pier. I've seen some other houses with really short ones. I thought the little trees in the yard were cute. This was not a big lot. And that's one of my biggest complaints about this house, if I'm being totally honest with you, Biscuits. Oh, we found a feather. This was fought over the whole trip. Is just how small the lot was. Where would we put chickens that wouldn't interfere with our neighbors' happiness and time outside? Where would we put a garden or a greenhouse? This is the whole front yard. You just saw it. That is the front yard. That's the window actually that used to go to the bathroom. And so to put in a shower, they had to cover it up. Obviously, I would open windows back up. I really like that this has a garage, and it's attached garage. It's the only place I saw with an attached garage that was a little lake cottage. Because I love the idea. Oh, you see that right there is the lot line. That's how small the lot is. But I love the idea in winter of just popping on in. Okay, Biscuits, let's go look at the next house. Okay, Biscuits, I've got the driving glasses back on. Okay, so this house is, compared to the photos, oh yeah, that is the exact same. It's a rental car. Really needs a lot of work. We're talking big money, which the photos did not show. Really cute. I love this location. This is such a nice little neighborhood out in the middle of nowhere on a lakey pond thing. I really like it. Hold on, we're trying to. Oh, the internet won't load. We're gonna see if we can find our way out of here. Really shoddy cell service, so that's something to think about, but it has good internet. I think we can't do this house because they're asking too much, even though it's a really low price. You know, it's under $250, but I think it would easily be $100,000, $200,000 to make it livable, because you can see, like, you can't actually live in it right now. It's like a mold asbestos zone. Man, the phone will not work to GPS me for our next destination. The request timed out. Okay. Let me see if that works. I'm going like 5 miles an hour for the record, biscuits. But oh my goodness, I would totally. This is such a nice, idyllic little area. Far from everything. It's like at least 20 minutes to a grocery store, maybe more like 25. And you have to think about in Michigan in the winter weather, right? How drivable these roads are going to be, because they'll get icy. But really cute. I'm bummed out that we came all this way to see so few houses and that there's just nothing to see that we could possibly move to. So let's go look at the next one. This is going to be a little more suburban urban, and I'm not sure honestly that is the vibe. I'm hoping I'm going the right way that we're looking for, truth be told, but I wanted to see it because it did have like a little creek running through it, and it was near a bunch of homeschool activities and stuff. So I want to see. I think though we really like being out in the country in Michigan, so it's gonna be tricky. I think we may just have to come back in the fall or winter and look. Okay, we're looking to see. Okay, my biscuits, let's get to our next spot. So this is the only suburban house we looked at. This was in the suburbs of Grand Rapids, and actually one of the biggest, I think the biggest house that we saw. It was a regular sized home, and you can see, I thought they updated this kitchen really nicely. A lot of the house felt very much dated suburban house, but the kitchen felt really updated. Not my footprint that I enjoy. I don't like these kind of U-shaped tight ones, but plenty of storage. I mean, you saw the last kitchen. Completely different vibe on this house. It was really interesting to see. This actually was Abraham's favorite house that we saw. He loved the yard that I will show you in a little bit. He ran through the house and claimed he didn't mind the layout, but this house had a peculiar layout. My real estate agent and I were talking, scratching our heads. It has one master bedroom upstairs, and then all the bedrooms down below ground level, like in a basement. So it's super dark and musty. At least the kitchen has a nice window overlooking the yard, which I really appreciated, because some of the kitchens in some of these lake houses just have really cramped little tiny sinks. And this is something you could live in. It's got a garage. So this felt very much like an easy to live in, let the kids play in the backyard kind of home. It's just move-in ready. You didn't really need to do anything right away. It would be a simple move. But it's right in Grand Rapids, and I have to admit that is not high on my list of places I want to go. And here's a question for you, biscuits. The 2 bathrooms in this house were tiny, and this is the 1 bedroom upstairs. I love the fireplace. That is great, but 1 master bedroom upstairs that's small, and very small bathrooms, just itty bitty. And you can't do anything about that, right? Unless you're going to do really extensive remodeling of bathrooms to knock out walls. So, you're kind of stuck with the size you are. So this is why we wanted to see the yard, is the magical little backyard. And it had, the kind of the manicured lawn, but then you go in this little archway and you come back, and there is a city creek that runs through here. And I have to admit, I'm bummed. I asked the real estate agent. He said it's not clean enough to like dip your toes in and wade in. And that for me was an instant deal killer. Is I want a yard that we can dip our toes in somewhere, right? And so even though you can see this yard, it's the biggest yard we saw by far, by a multitude. And it has a cute little garden shed for the chickens already. Abraham was absolutely talking his sister into moving into this place. They were like ready. He said, come on, Pear, don't you want to live here? Abraham would 100% today pack up his stuff and go move to this house. But it was very next to gas stations, near a freeway. It was too suburban urban for my vibes. Okay, I'm going to take you downstairs because I wanted to show you the yard, because that is why we actually looked at this house, was for the yard, because it was actually the biggest yard that I could find in our price range. So this is the downstairs area, and I think it's very nicely maintained. This is the second bath, which is very tiny. And if you have kids that are water babies, you know they need a bigger bath. So it has large sized rooms down here, but do you want to wake up if you're a claustrophobic woman in these bedrooms? My odds are saying no. As I walked through this, I was so bummed that this was the layout, because great. I mean, look at all this space. Abraham could have his laboratory, but I just was truly unsure about the size of things. What do you think? Could you go for small bedrooms in a basement and small bathrooms if it meant you could have a huge yard? I don't know. I feel like this house is crossed off the list, because even though it had a great laundry room, it just didn't have all the components together in a way we could use. So that is house hunting day 2. Come along for more houses as we try to find the right spot for our family, which has been harder to do, honestly, than I thought it would be. You can follow along Instagram, where I'll post links, and of course all our exclusive info about our house hunting over on Patreon. See you over there.